Welcome to the LSPAA Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Ron Platt, co-founder of the National Association for Single and Divorced Families. Today, along with our host, Piper Inc., we have the honor of meeting Audrey Grounds. If you have ever done an LSPAA event and you don't know who Audrey is, well, you've missed meeting someone who I consider to be one of the most proactive go-getters I've ever met. Audrey is the private events director for Rococo Steakhouse, and she leads the strategic planning, execution, and growth of their private events program, delivering high-impact experiences for corporate clients, social celebrations, and philanthropic galas. She manages full-cycle event productions from initial consultations and custom menu development to vendor coordination and day of logistics, ensuring a seamless, elevated experience that exceeds client expectations. Under her leadership, Rococo's private events division has consistently driven significant revenue growth and client retention with a focus on personalized service and hospitality excellence. Through her efforts, she has spearheaded over 1,000 private events, generating seven-figure annual revenue. She's elevated the guest experience through a curated wine pairings, leveraging over 700-plus wine labels and 6,000 bottle vaults, recognized with the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence every year. Built strong relationships with local businesses and community leaders, positioning Rococo Steak as a premier destination for high-profile events in the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area. She's also heavily involved in the LSP and LSPAA events. So thank you for being here today. I'm very happy to actually finally get to interview you. Audrey and I work on the membership, on the not the membership, the marketing committee, and that's how I got involved with this. I've been at Rococo Steakhouse several times, and as a pescatarian, I can say that your salmon is off the charts. Yeah. And I did have a friend of mine force me to try the oyster Rockefellers. I never eat oysters, but I did, and it is off the charts as well.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm now not addicted to it. I mean, I like my escargot, that I'm addicted to, but I will try oyster Rockefellers again. I've seen you at every LSPAA event, every LSP thing I've ever done. When I had my class of 2020, you were there overseeing us. I wasn't sure what you were doing, but you were just always there. So tell me more. First, let's talk about Rococo's and what you're doing for them, and then we'll get into the whole LSP thing.
Yeah, so my job, I work technically for Caledon Concepts. Right. Caledon Concepts is our boutique restaurant group that we have Rococo and Ceviche, and we're actually opening up a second Ceviche location. Hopefully we'll open in July of this summer, but we will definitely be open by August in International Mall.
And the Ceviche one is on Beach Drive, correct?
Yep, the Ceviche one's on Beach Drive, right next to Birchwood, in between real estate office.
Now, what do you do between the two? Or soon to be three?
I have, so the easiest way to describe my job is my boss always introduces me. My boss, Lee Carlin's the president of Caledon Concepts, will always be like, this is Audrey. She's my right-hand man. And I basically am. So I do accounts payable, anything that has to do with business development, anything that has to do with charity, anything that has to do with anything. I'm kind of like the filter for our group. So
you should be the COO.
No. I'm good.
You're good.
I like the flexibility of my position, and I like it because there's nothing boring about my job in any way, shape, or form. I do love events. Events, I feel, is just. It's easy for me. I enjoy it. Right. I love it. Even when I was a kid, it's funny that I used to throw parties as a kid for my parents. I remember like this one time I threw them a surprise anniversary party, which is a crazy thing for like an 8-year-old to do, right? And I'm going around inviting people. I wrote little invitations. I invited people to come to my house, right? How I pulled that off, I have no idea, because as soon as I gave it to them, they would go around and be like, your daughter's trying to do this, right? Right. My parents let me. Right. People showed up. Right. It's just I used to throw birthday parties for my sister. I would dress up and be like the entertainment. I'm a crazy person. So
not a crazy. It just sounds like you knew what you wanted.
I just like parties and people, and so it's an easy thing for me to do. But I have really enjoyed learning different aspects of the restaurant industry. I just love hospitality. I'm very much a people person. I love to be around people. I love to interact with people. I love to just build these relationships. So hospitality is just sort of ingrained in me.
How did you get involved with Rococo? I think prior to Rococo's, you were teaching, correct?
So
You were in the education.
So yeah, actually, I went to school to be a professor, and I was actually really disappointed at academia and just kind of how cutthroat it was.
Yeah.
And it just kind of took all of the joy out of me sort of wanting to go down that career path. So after I got my master's, I taught for about 5 years in the humanities department. So I loved teaching. I taught introduction to humanities, and then I also,
One of my favorite subjects.
Oh, I loved it because you would teach students how to analyze art, and I
Right.
loved it because
Right.
at the very beginning of the semester, you always had these students who were like, I don't know what to say about art.
Right.
I don't know how to analyze it. And I go, that's the great thing about art.
Right.
Is everybody has an opinion.
Right.
You just have to be like, why do you have that opinion? And so it's teaching them how to have an opinion in general.
Yeah.
And just creative thinking and just being able to defend why you have that opinion.
Right.
So it's actually kind of, I mean, if you think about it in a lot of ways, a critical thinking class.
Yeah.
And then 20th century American culture was really fun because I used to teach it to INTO students and freshmen. So you had these international students that are coming over, and then you also had freshmen. So that was really interesting because you had to take like a little introduction as to like different cultures. And that was really fascinating. Just some cultures you have to hand with both hands, hand them the paper,
Right.
because otherwise it's disrespectful,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then also certain cultures that they don't consider helping each other with answers cheating, right? Because we help each other. So it was really, really interesting, and I very much enjoyed it. And then after I decided not to go down that route, I was still working actually at Mise en Place. And one of my best friends.
What's Mise en Place?
Mise en Place is a restaurant in Tampa.
Got
It's
it.
actually
Okay.
one of other than Burns, it's like one of the oldest fine dining restaurants in Tampa.
Okay.
Burns and Donatello's and Mise en Place. It's they've been around for, at least over 36 years.
Wow.
I mean, really, really long time.
Yeah.
A lot of the chefs that come from Marty have gone on to build like great businesses and become pretty influential chefs.
Okay.
So deep love for them. But so the general manager actually, he left and then I left, and then he actually brought me over to Rococo because he was the director of ops. And I actually got hired to be the bar manager. And then the girl who did events quit. And Dave's like, well, do you want to do that? I was like, sure.
Right.
And I just ended up loving it. And then they actually pulled me into the office to do admin stuff, and it just kind of grew from there. So that's how I ended up to this unique position that I have.
Are you able to utilize some of the things you learned teaching in your current career?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Whenever you manage a group full of people, especially a lot of my staff are younger. They call me their work mom because, I mean, let's be honest, I am as old as their parents. So I am literally their
Right.
work mom. And, it's teaching them how I want events to run and how I want the hospitality to go. It really is, you take those skills of teaching into everything
Especially
that you
the
do.
cultural side.
Oh, yeah.
And the art side.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm very, very proud of my team. My team understands what I mean by hospitality. I always give them the this little thing I read. It's called, I always say, give them the pickle. So I read this book called Setting the Table. And a lot of parts of the book are great, but this one part of the book always resonated with me. And it was about this guy that he was a regular at this restaurant every single day for lunch. He went in and got the same thing. Like, it was like a burger with extra pickles.
Right.
And then the restaurant switched over. It was new management. He went in, ordered his burger with extra pickles, and the server was like, well, we're going to have to charge you 50 cents. Or it was $1. It was something so minuscule.
Right.
And he was like, no, I've been coming here
Right.
for like 10 years,
Right.
and I've always ordered the burger with extra pickles.
Right.
And they're like, well, it's new management. That's the policy. Why would you not just give them extra pickles?
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
literally costs you nothing.
Right.
And the guy never went back. And it's just kind of like, you lost it over something so
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
And so I always tell them that I trust them wholeheartedly that they will do whatever they need to make the customer happy, and I will always have their back because I know that they have the best interest of the customer experience. Like I teach them to use names, I teach them to it's just all those teaching moments, and that those skills will translate into any job that they have because no matter what people think, no matter what job you have, there's always an aspect of customer service.
Absolutely. I come from the customer service industry being in real estate.
Yeah.
I read a book called How to Hug Your Customers. And it was about a clothing store, I think it was in New York, that went above and beyond to help their customers. Like if they needed an outfit that they have had for a meeting, that they would figure out how to tailor it and get it to them and deliver it to their office, but before the meeting. They had customers that called them and said, I'm at a wedding in Virginia and my tuxedo, got a stain on it. And they would figure out how to get another tuxedo to that person in Virginia before the end of the day. How they went above and beyond customer service and to make sure that they made every customer feel special and that they were the only customer in the store, and how they continue to expand and still succeed to this day. So it's in real estate, I've often thought, how do I, I'm selling a house. That's a simple transaction, but how do I make them feel like I'm going to be part of their family before and after the transaction? So it is a matter of making sure I have the contractors, making sure that I have the people that when they need it, that they come to me as a resource. And then also to make sure that I throw them a housewarming party when they close on their homes, that I'm popping in to check up on them and see how their family is, and being part of that experience, that it's not just a transaction. So I totally get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. How did you get involved with LSP and LSPAA? Well, clearly after LSP you went to LSPAA, but how did you get involved in LSP?
So
And what class are you?
I'm 2017. Okay. So I got hired at Rococo in 2016, and I knew two people in St. Pete. And
well, where'd you come from? Tampa.
Well, I've lived in Tampa for
Okay.
20 plus years. So I knew no one in St. Pete, and part of my interview, I had the job, but part of my interview was how are you going to grow the business?
Right.
And I actually credit Marianne Ferenz for Mise en Place with learning how important community is to hospitality, which is something that a lot of people don't understand, right? And that's why they have been so successful in Tampa for so many years, is because she is so involved and she understands how important community is and to give back to the community as well. So I learned a lot from her, and I realized that I need to get involved with the chamber. So I immediately joined the chamber, and I started looking through all the things that you can do, right, committees, and I came across LSP, and I was like, well, that sounds incredible. So I went to an info session, and Jeanette Dean, I remember after the info session, her and T actually invited me to, after the info session, they went to a brewery or something like that. And I talked to her about it. And after leaving that, I was so excited to apply. And I went to my boss, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get in, but I want to do this. And he was like, okay. And he signed off on it, and it's like the best thing I ever did. It becomes, it just was such an important part of my life. And I think that the program is just so powerful. And people don't get it until they go through it. I mean, you're with 39 other individuals that you really get very, very close to. And you run into people that you would never be friends with, right? I don't hang out with architects or engineers or, that doesn't fall within my circle. Now, if you ask me about like a restaurant owner or a chef, or of course I know a bunch of bartenders. But so it was really fun breaking out of your comfort zone. And then everything that you learned, it's sort of like a quick crash course into St. Pete. So that was a lot of fun. And just the people. I mean, I always joke around that all of my friends are vetted. They went through the interview process.
Through a deep dive.
Yeah, and it's just so incredible, to see a part of what you can be a part of, especially even with the community project that they do every year. That's why I always try to tell nonprofits, always try to apply to be the community project. Yes, it's a lot of work, but what you get from being a community project recipient, it gets back in spades. Not only do you have 40 people that will always support you, right? If you call on anybody,
Absolutely.
they will answer your
Even
call
if
because
you-
they have a tie to
Yeah,
it.
even if you haven't connected with them in a year or two, that
Yeah.
just because you were in the class and you have that, you share that time together.
Yeah. And a lot
They're
of
there.
people will join the board and
Right.
continue to be involved. So I just think it's just such a powerful program, and you see the way that it just propels people to take on these incredible leadership roles and how they grow, and the things that they didn't think that were possible, they realize it is, and that is LSP.
Now, I know multitasking is not a word. It's something that's been made up. We can't technically multitask, even though we do it. How do you manage to be as involved in LSPAA as you are and also do what you do at work? You've got incredible time management skills.
If you've ever gotten an email from me, I answer it very directly.
Yes.
There's not a whole lot of fluff
I'm the
in
same
my
way.
emails.
I have to go back and go, how's your day? I hope it's going well, but I really want to get to the message. And you and I just like, what do you need? I need
Yeah.
this. Done.
I mean, and even like, yeah, I just need to do what I need to do. And I realize that there are some people like, hey, I hope you're well, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But a lot of times if I need something, hey, do you know this?
Yep.
And I just, because I mean, if you send me an email that has a couple of paragraphs, I have to physically like be like, okay, I have to
Right.
sit down. I have to pay attention. I have to read this through.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of short, sweet
Short and sweet.
emails, even bullet points.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it. If you've got an email, I'm like, hey, I need these 3 things.
Right.
This is what I need. And so that's kind of how I do it. Plus, I try to, as soon as I'm done with a meeting or I'm done doing something, I try to always, while it's still fresh in my mind, get those tasks done. Because a lot of times, the tasks that you have built up in your head are bigger in your head than they are in real person.
Right.
So another book that I loved is called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And it always stuck with me because it's so true. Sometimes I'll put something off. I'm like, that seems like an annoying task. I'm just going to put it off. And you put it off, and you put it off, and you put it off. And then it becomes this huge elephant.
The anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
All
And
that.
you're like, okay, fine. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do it. And then you do it, and it takes you 10 minutes. You're
Right.
like, why did I do that?
Right.
And so it's
done.
been... So after realizing that, that's why I'm like, I just go and get it done. And also, sometimes I think that we always want everything to be perfect. And I find that if you get it done, you can always just readjust if you need. If it didn't work right, then you just pivot and do something else. I find there's always a solution. There's
Correct.
always a solution.
Do you have a filing cabinet in your head?
Uh,
I mean, like a Rolodex, the old school Rolodex in your head. Like somebody says, I need a, and you're like already done. What else do you need?
Sometimes that is like that. I have a hard time sometimes what I call turning my brain off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I meditate, so that I can do that. You are probably, I'm thinking as you're talking, I'm thinking about 3 other people that I have in my life that are pretty much the same caliber as you, as far as when I say, hey, I need something, that they're already on their phones texting and getting me the answer. And I feel like, because I'm that way, I'm very, like you said, don't give me the fluff. Hi, how you doing? You don't care. How's your day going? I know you don't care. What do you need? You know? So, and then,
Yeah.
and I'm that way when I write, and I have to go back in and go, no, you have to be more polite. You got to say, so how's the family? All that stuff. But I really need what I'm emailing you about without the fluff sometimes. If you and I are friends, we fluff on the phone, we kiki at coffee and all this other stuff. When I need an email, it's because
Yeah.
I'm in a rush. I need to get it done, and I need the answer now. So I respect that. How has LSPAA helped you with your career?
The same way. It's just the relationships. I think that sometimes people, when you don't get an immediate ROI, I
Right.
think that people sometimes give up.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I find is like I'm always out there doing all of these things. So when you think, oh, I need an event, or oh, I should go to a nice place and treat, whoever, that I find that because I'm in front of people all the time, that they think of me often.
Right.
So in the relationships. I mean, the relationships are how I get business because they know me, they know what I'm capable of, they know that I'm not going to let them down, and that I truly care. So that's why people recommend me, because I do care about every single event, every single client. It's why I'm always there at my events. If I'm not there, I'm literally out of town or I had a family emergency.
Right. What motivates you in the morning?
Getting stuff done. And then also just being a role model to my daughters. I have 2 daughters. Jordan turned 18 today.
Mazel tov.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
she's my little angel. She makes the world a better place. And Brooklyn is 15, and she's my little spitfire.
Yeah, she should be at 15.
Oh my God. Unfortunately, she's my clone, and she has the same personality. I don't know if you can be more social than I am, but she is. She sent me yesterday, doctor. She's like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna send you, Dad, and Grammy, my mom, all a text about all of my plans this weekend, so you guys can figure it out. And I'm like, oh, I cannot wait for you to drive. And I go, well, I work and I also have plans. And she's like, you guys will figure it out.
You're figured out. Yeah. Problem solved. You're good at it.
And you know what? I'll give it to her. If I don't have time to do it, she figures it out.
Right.
She definitely has that way of like, there's always a solution. There's always a way for me to figure this out. And she's going to be amazing. Both the girls are just so different and so incredible.
Is your
and
18-year-old getting ready to go off to college?
I'm hoping that she stays close. She wants to do something medical, so I'm hoping that she goes to USF. There's just so many great medical programs. Either she's talked about either doing oncology or maybe possibly something with kids. Either way, it's great. Plus, I'm not ready for them to leave the nest yet.
My parents were. They were like, at 18, you're going to college. What if I don't want to go to college? Then you leave the house. So it was motivating.
Yeah.
It was something that was embedded in us that at 18 we had to make a decision whether we were going to college or doing something else.
Yeah. And I don't think college is necessarily for everybody.
I totally agree with you. Yes. I think that there are, like my nephew, for example, went to NYU and then COVID hit. So he decided he wanted to become a chef. Now, he had baking experience in high school where he actually got up every morning and went to this bakery and prepared the bread at 5 a.m. and then went to school and then came home and baked the bread at the bakery. And then it had this whole thing. His mom never had to motivate him to get out of bed. He just did it. So when he said he wanted to be a chef in New York, my sister and her former husband said, go for it, and he went ahead and interviewed and got 3 different offers and started off at the lower end and then worked his way up to a Michelin star restaurant where
That's
he was a
amazing.
sous chef. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then said, I think I'm done with that. I think I want to be an electrician. So he's now working with Power Design, believe it or not.
Oh, that's
as an
great.
intern. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So we're real proud of him. But he did not have the inclination to want to go to college, but is a brilliant person and figures it out very quickly. So I agree with you. There's not necessarily a need to go. What is your superpower?
I guess probably getting stuff done. Probably. But I mean, I guess we've talked about that. I also really like connecting people. That's one of my favorite things is like, oh, you know who you should meet. You know who you would get along with. You know who you would love. And so I love doing that. That's one of the other things I love about LSP or LSPAA is like bringing people together in the
Matchmaker.
room.
You're a matchmaker.
Not that type, but yeah, I do love. I just love relationships and connecting people together and broadening their network.
Their network.
I very much enjoy that.
What's your passion project?
I don't really have one right now, but what I do love to do is play with flowers. I do floral arrangements for a lot of my clients. I do them for ceviche as well. I've just always loved them. It's an easy part of, events and things like that.
Right.
It's sort of
Does it help quiet your mind?
it's a creative outlet
Yeah.
for sure. In fact, stripping roses and plucking off the leaves and opening them up and just all the little like nitty gritty sort of boring things of flowers, I find relaxing.
I get it.
And then it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I just really like it. So that's something that I do on my spare time for people that I love. So one of my employees just got married this past October, and so I had a lot of fun doing her flowers because she's sort of like this glam goth girl. So it was a lot of fun because she wanted this feasting table with these like dark, sort of like moody, but also like girly flowers. So I got her these black, I mean, they're painted, but these black painted roses. I mean, they're like black. They were so black, they almost felt even velvet. In
Right.
fact, my wholesaler, she goes, I want these. And I go, they're so cool, right? And then in the midst of that, a bunch of like light, like pinks and just pretty colors and whatnot. And then in between them, a bunch of like fruit, like cut pomegranates and just things to sort of make it moody and glam. And it was really, it was a lot of fun. It was really pretty.
Very
I very
cool.
much enjoyed doing that.
Very cool. I can see it as you're talking about it, that your eyes are lit up and it's
Yeah, my wholesaler loves me.
Yeah.
Because she will literally text me and be like, "Hey, I got this weird flower in. Do you want it?" She'll send me a picture and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want it. They will put stuff aside for me. They're like, they even take bets when I walk in and I walk out. They're like, I told you she was gonna get that.
Do you bring that into the restaurant, or is that for that's the stuff you bring home?
It started off at the restaurant just because I enjoyed doing it. I
Right.
enjoyed making events like prettier and nicer and just sort of like when you walk in, it's a space.
Right.
So I was actually horrified that one of my clients had told me, they're like, "Oh, your space is so beautiful. You always decorate the table so nice." Because I think, otherwise, what's the difference between just going to a restaurant and getting a reservation? They told me the night before they'd gone into this restaurant and it was only a tablecloth. There wasn't even like a tea light on there.
Right.
And this was a private event. And I couldn't believe it because I really always, I like to under-promise, over-deliver
Right.
because, things come up. But I always try to make the space a beautiful space. And so flowers are an easy way to, sort of elevate a space
Right.
and whatnot.
Right.
And I do love doing it.
I love it. How do people get in touch with you?
So I tell people, just text me. I mean, that's literally the easiest way. If you go to any of the restaurants, any info, like when you submit an information request, it goes directly to me. But my phone number is 813-505-7986. And you can always text me. It's the easiest way.
What's that number again?
813-505-7986.
And if they want to email you, it would be info@Rococo Steakhouse, or
It'd be, well, actually, you just go to directly to
website.
the website.
Got it.
And you just click an info button. I mean,
Okay.
I have like multiple emails and they're kind of hard to spell. So
Okay, so now you know how to get in touch with her. Now you know how to text her, and you know where to find her. And if you don't find her at Rococo's, you'll find her at one of our events. So definitely come out to any of our networking events and meet Audrey. She is definitely one of the more impactful people you will meet in your life. Any last words?
No. No. I think I've talked enough.
Okay, there you go. And this concludes another LSPAA Coffee Talk. Please join us every Monday, where you will see us on both Facebook and YouTube. You can see past episodes, and if you want to also be part of the LSPAA Coffee Talk so that we can get to know you a little bit better, please just reach out to us at info@lspaa.com. Is that correct?
LSPAA@lspaa.com.
There you go. info@lspaa.lspaa.com.
LSPAA@lspaa.com.
See, she said it twice. All right, there you go. Thanks again. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.